The miners noticed something unusual, their eyes narrowing in confusion. Nearby, 3 shadow goblins diligently mined crystals, their dark forms moving in perfect sync. Dokyun watched in disbelief, unable to comprehend how Suho possessed such a summoning skill. Dokyun's mind raced, recalling that most summoners could only control 1 or 2 summons at best. Summoning 3 creatures was already unusual. Combined with the talking ghost-like figure, it made 4. The realization left him even more bewildered. Wasn't Suho's power abnormal? Suho reflected that the limit was supposed to be only 3. Although shadow extraction required corpses, using goblin corpses from the shadow dungeon made things more convenient. They carried out simple tasks without complaint. Suho said that shadow extraction was indeed a useful skill, just as Beru had mentioned. Beru replied with a pout, asking not to be praised while doing such dirty work. Then he reminded Suho that entering the dungeon was supposed to be for leveling up, not just labor work. According to Hunter Association rules, E-rank hunters couldn't enter dungeons alone. Since the ranking system was still new, the measurement devices often had errors. Suho thought of leveling up and getting his remeasurement done. He also remembered their 3rd mission, recovering Beru's lost power. Beru's eyes lit up, realizing what Suho meant. Suho recalled that eating something with magic power could help Beru recover. Even the magic stone fragments scattered on the ground contained magic power. Beru's eyes widened, realizing Suho's intentions. Without hesitation, Suho ordered him to quietly pick up the stones and eat them. Beru reluctantly began munching on the magic stones. Beru suddenly shuddered, his body reacting to a powerful presence nearby. Suho noticed the shift, his eyes narrowing. Beru's voice echoed in Suho's mind, heavy with urgency. The presence of a monarch had appeared. Suho's heart raced, his mind flashing to one possibility: his father. Beru's eyes glowed dimly as he scanned the surroundings. It wasn't the monarch he once served. If it were, his power would have instantly returned to its peak. Instead, the lingering aura carried a different scent, one belonging to a beast monarch. A miner's ears perked up at the distant rumbling sound echoing through the tunnel. His eyes narrowed toward the source. That direction. It was undoubtedly the path where the raid party had ventured. From the shadowed depths of the tunnel, 3 crimson eyes flickered to life, piercing through the darkness with an ominous glow, silently watching the miners. The miners froze in shock as a beast emerged from the shadows, its red eyes glowing menacingly. Panic spread among them as they realized the danger. One miner, gripped by fear, raised his pickaxe in a desperate attempt to defend himself. The beast lunged forward, biting down on the pickaxe, snapping it like a twig. Terror filled the miner's face as he stumbled back, helpless. In that moment, Suho appeared, striking the beast with a powerful swing of his pickaxe. Without hesitation, Suho positioned himself between the miners and the beast, buying time for their escape. The miner, filled with gratitude, quickly turned and ran toward the tunnel exit. Suho locked eyes with the beast, its menacing presence filling the tunnel. The name floating above its head glowed orange, signaling its power. In his mind, Suho assessed the situation. The creature's strength seemed on par with the D rank. Mistburn he had fought back at the Korean Art University, a foe he was confident he could defeat on his own. But he wasn't alone. Behind him, Dokyun stood frozen, his presence adding a layer of uncertainty to the battle ahead. Suho glanced at Dokyun, silently offering him a chance to escape. But Dokyun's eyes reflected a newfound determination. Seeing Suho risking his life to protect others, Dokyun's guilt from the past resurfaced. This time, he refused to abandon someone fighting alone. Suho calmly requested Dokyun's assistance if things became dire. With a flick of his hand, 3 shadow goblins emerged, ready for battle. Reaching into his inventory, Suho summoned weapons salvaged from the shadow dungeon, far superior to a mere pickaxe. Dokyun watched in disbelief, his mind racing. The summoning skill Suho displayed was beyond ordinary, not only creatures, but weapons as well. What kind of power did Suho truly possess? Suho propelled himself forward, his feet kicking off the ground as he dashed toward the beasts. With swift precision, he slashed through one steel-fanged lichen, its body collapsing instantly. Without losing momentum, he delivered another strike to a second lichen, cutting it down. A dot notification flickered before him. The steel-fanged lichen has been defeated. Dokyun watched in disbelief as Suho stood calmly, the goblin shadows cheering around him. With a single word, "Arise!" Suho commanded. The steel-fanged lichen's corpse trembled before its shadow detached, forming into a new dark soldier. Both Dokyun and the goblin shadows froze, their expressions filled with shock at the sight of Suho's mysterious power. Suho swiftly raised his sword, blocking the incoming strike from the lichen beast. At the same time, the newly summoned lichen shadow lunged forward, launching a counterattack against its former kind, defeated. Beru observed the scene with pride, his thoughts marveling at how quickly the young monarch adapted to combat using shadow powers. Suho, focused on the battle, realized that extraction and summoning required no mana. As his magical power increased, so would the number of extractions he could perform, eventually allowing him to create an entire shadow army. With a determined gaze, he prepared to add another soldier to his growing forces. Another notification appeared. The steel-fanged lichen had been defeated. Suho commanded, "Arise!" The lichen's corpse trembled before transforming into a shadow soldier, rising to join his ranks. The goblin shadows stared in disbelief at their new comrade. One goblin's eyes welled up with tears, its small body trembling, overwhelmed by the sight of their forces growing stronger. Suho commanded "Arise" once more, summoning another shadow soldier from the lichen's corpse. Dokyun watched in disbelief, his heart pounding. The overwhelming strength Suho displayed was far beyond what an E-rank should possess, especially the power to command dead monsters. Suho's thoughts raced, realizing he got too carried away. Dokyun's suspicion grew, his mind turning. Could Suho be a false ranker? Someone who deliberately falsified their rank to hide their true strength? Suho's gaze shifted as a sudden notification flashed before his eyes. A quest window appeared, its chilling message filling his vision. Quest guide. Emergency quest. Defeat the enemy. An entity with murderous intent toward the player has been detected nearby. Secure your safety by defeating it. Suho's expression hardened, sensing the sinister presence lurking in the shadows. The air grew heavy, a sign that the real threat had finally revealed itself. Number of enemies to defeat. 1. Suho's mind raced as he processed the quest notification. He questioned the message. He had already eliminated all visible lichens. Could there be another enemy hidden nearby? Suddenly, the sound of approaching footsteps echoed through the tunnel. Dokyun's eyes lit up at the sight of a figure from the raid party. Relief washed over him as he assumed the man had survived the earlier attack. He began to speak, unaware of the danger lurking beneath the surface. Without warning, the soldier's sword swung down toward Dokyun. In a split second, Suho lunged forward, grabbing Dokyun and pulling him away, narrowly saving him from the lethal strike. Suho swiftly commanded his newly summoned wolf shadows to attack, their dark forms leaping toward the possessed hunter. His mind recalled the past encounter at the Korean Art University. The red name above the enemy signified a high level of danger. The strength he had experienced firsthand reminded him how formidable such opponents could be. Rationally, retreating with Dokyun would be the safest option. However, Suho's resolve hardened. He needed to confirm the nature of this enemy. He turned his thoughts to Beru, seeking reassurance. The response was clear. While the creature possessed considerable power, it was nowhere near the level of a monarch. Even so, Beru warned that this opponent was still far beyond Suho's current capabilities. Suho's gaze remained unwavering, a spark of determination flickering in his eyes. The system existed to aid his growth, offering quests only if victory was within reach. Despite Beru's cautious thoughts, Suho trusted the system's guidance. This battle wasn't just about survival. It was a stepping stone toward reuniting with his father. The possessed hunter relentlessly slashed through the shadow lichens, its eyes blazing with murderous intent. Each strike carved through the shadows, radiating overwhelming hostility. Suho's heart pounded, but his resolve remained firm. This red-named enemy stood as a wall, blocking his path to strength. Defeating it would mark another step forward, another step closer to his father. With unwavering determination, Suho braced himself for battle, ready to carve his own path to power.